that lovely, lovely man you see sitting on the other side of me in your screen is the one and only Jeff Goodman. If you are watching this on the stream, give us 1 second as we allow the feed to populate. If you are listening to this,
happy early New Year.
Yeah, happy New Year, man.
What are your big plans for tonight? Yeah, I'm sure you have huge plans for your kids. What do you got?
We're getting wild, man. We're gonna watch a bunch of movies. I literally, as soon as I'm done loading this stream and getting this content up, I think we're just gonna sit there and watch movies literally all day. I'm so excited. We're gonna watch Sing. I'm gonna get both of the Frozens in. Nice. We're probably gonna watch a little bit of Trolls.
Big day. Big day in the Doster household.
It is I can't tell. Well, it's pouring down, right? It's 38 degrees. It is literally the worst possible weather outside right now because
the good thing is you can't do shit anyway. So honestly,
but if it was 10 degrees colder, we would be getting a whole bunch of snow and then we can go out and play in the snow. If it was not raining, then it would be right about on that edge of the temperature where you could take a bike outside and go ride it or do something outside. But when it's 39 degrees and rainy, it's the worst.
It's not great.
It's the worst. It's the absolute.
We got to figure out what movies tonight. It's a lot harder when you got a 17-year-old daughter and you've got to kind of figure out what type of movie. It's a whole process that literally I think it takes longer to pick a movie than it does to watch a movie for us. And then we got to figure out
Jeff. Yes. That is the exact same thing with my wife.
Yeah,
I love her to death. But I never want to watch movies with her because it takes so long to find a movie.
It's ridiculous. And we've watched everything that's any good at this point. The one I got them to watch a couple months ago, early on in the pandemic, was Rocky. Okay. I hadn't watched Rocky since I was probably 10 years old. So we watched it. They hated it. They thought it was so slow. They were ready to turn it off 40 minutes in. I'm like, no, we got to watch it. You got to fight through this. It's going to get better. And
I have a confession.
It wasn't that good.
I have a confession.
Go ahead.
I've only seen the first Rocky.
Yeah.
And the only reason I saw the first Rocky was because my father-in-law said he wasn't going to allow me to marry his daughter if I didn't try to watch the Rockies. He said the same thing about the Godfathers. I've only seen Godfather 1 and Godfather 2, which I actually like. Those are really good. Rocky was whatever. I've never seen the Lord of the Rings. I think I saw Star Wars when I was 8.
Me too.
But I've never seen those.
Yeah. Star Trek. I've never seen those. I don't know. You know what I want to make him watch tonight? Except he won't sleep. They've never seen Scarface. Have you seen Scarface?
Yeah, it's such an awful movie, but it's so good.
So good. Yeah.
All right, before we get into tonight's college basketball slate, I need you to give me my credit.
Yeah. I knew this
for Tennessee. You know it was coming. You knew it was coming.
It.
Last night on the podcast with Deshaun, I was it was funny because I was sitting there watching the game, and I was texting him. I was like, "Hey, Deshaun." I host a podcast with Deshaun Butler. So I was texting him. I was like, hey, my SEC network isn't working. Do you know what the score is in the Tennessee game? And every time they scored again, I would do it again. And he was like, are you actually watching the game?
That's all I could think about was I love this Tennessee team so much, but I hate the fact that they're playing this well because I'm going to have to hear it every day for the rest of the effing season.
Well, look.
They're unbelievable.
Yeah, they were great, and we can elaborate that on.
Or
that
are they great, or is Missouri just mediocre?
All of the above.
Okay,
all of the above. There's no.
Yep.
My take is there's no second best team in the SEC, and there's no best team in the ACC. And then there's the 3 best teams in the country. You got Gonzaga at number 1. You got Baylor and Tennessee at 1A.
Yep.
And then you got everybody else. But I do want to let all of the listeners and all the watchers know. Yesterday, my picks went 6-0. Your picks went 6-1. 6-1 is not quite as good as 6-0.
wait,
but because of how well I did, and how many, I had 3 different bets on the Tennessee game alone. All of them hit.
Yep.
I think it was time to bust out this T-shirt.
What is that? What the hell is that?
My grandma got it for me for Christmas.
You've been waiting. Actually, the timing's good because you had a good night.
I couldn't bust this out after I went 0-4 the other night.
Well,
6-0, baby.
Well,
6-0.
Do you want to read out my my overall numbers?
96-64.
96-64.
That is a 66.6%.
Yeah.
You are for every game, every 3 games you pick, you have 2 winners right now.
Honestly,
I've never seen a heater like this ever.
I mean,
ever.
Really, if whoever's been on this since the season started should send me a commission. They should send just something, just like a little Christmas present, Happy New Year's, whatever. It can be something small. It could be a autographed thank you, because listen. If you expect me to keep this up, you're out of your mind. Like,
well, what's going to happen is DraftKings is going to drop us as a sponsor because you're taking too much of their money.
It's incredible. No, I'm like 6-1 last night, and honestly, I'm like ho hum. Like, okay, like I went 6-1.
Another 6-1 night. These are just so common for me. I'm Jeff Moneybags.
It's crazy. Goodman. It's crazy. All right, let's get back to last night's action.
All right, so let's have a real conversation about Tennessee because for me, what makes them so impressive is what they can do on the defensive end of the floor. Like, look, Yves Pons, it's Yves Pons. I always.
Why do you keep calling him Yves?
Because it's just in my head. No, here's what it is. Like, I got stuck with this with like Hinkle Fieldhouse versus Hilton Coliseum, where like I know what the right one is, but then as I go to say it, I'm like, is that the right one? And I always get it wrong because I'm like, well, I think it's Eve, but why if I think it's Eve and I'm right, why am I nervous about saying it? So I'm just going to say the wrong one, which is why you always be like, you always hear me reference like Hinkle Magic or.
So you say it quickly so that we don't know if you screw it up or not. That's what you end up doing.
That's exactly what I do. That's exactly Epons. But I mean, he's such a monster defensively, man. It was hilarious watching guys try to score in the lane. Like he caused 3 travels last night because people would try to pump fake because they were like, I don't want to get my shit put through a backboard by Yves Pons. So and Keon Johnson's great defensively, but like every one of those
good.
Josiah Jordan-James is like a 6'6", 225-pound point guard that can guard anywhere 1 through 4. Victor Bailey's a terrific athlete that's making shots. Santiago Vescovi, like I thought he was going to be the guy that kind of like pulled the defense. Like you're kind of as good as your weakest part when it comes to a defense, the way that Tennessee plays it. And I thought Vescovi was going to be that guy, but it's just like he's so savvy and heady. Like he's sitting there waiting in the passing lanes for you to make a mistake. He's sitting there trying to get you to drive towards him so he can jump in and strip the ball from you when he's down.
He's a senior. Like he's a senior. He's just tough as shit. I mean, I swear, I think he like broke his thumb at one point last night. And he's grabbing it, and he's like, "I'm not coming out of this game. Like, I'm not coming out." Like,
and literally 3 seconds later, he hit like a 17-foot fadeaway jumper that touched nothing. Like the saying, "Nothing but the bottom of the net." Like that touched so little of the net that I was like, "Wow, he missed that shot by like a foot. It was a foot short." No, it went in.
Yeah, they got 8 dudes that know their roles, that are okay with their roles, even though all of these dudes came in. Not all of them, but like the young guys all come in thinking they're going to be first-round picks. That's the impressive part. They've got them bought into guarding. And I give Rick Barnes, Mike Schwartz, and the rest of the staff a ton of credit because what they've done is what Kentucky's been unable to do this year, which is getting them to buy into team first, period.
Yes. And you got to give them credit too, because they identified they have 5 stars coming in. They have one and done kid. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson are probably going to be one and dones. But they identified the players that have a certain personality that will fit their program, right? Like they're not just Jay Wright did the same thing at Villanova for a while. Like he was going out and getting 5 stars just because they were 5 stars instead of identifying the guys that are kind of in that range that will fit the culture and the personality and the style of play. And like Keon Johnson got no ego, loves playing defense, just everything that he does fits perfectly with the way that Tennessee wants to play. And he's a 5-star projected. It's like a top 10 pick that's coming off the bench.
Yeah,
we saw it's kind of similar to like Patrick Williams at Florida State last year, where it's just like he bought in. And to me, that's part of the reason why, and I'm sure you could touch on this as well. That's part of the reason why I'm so high on him as a pro and as a prospect is because like I don't think he's ever going to be a star, but like he's buying into his role. And at the NBA level, he's going to have to buy into a role. And he's proven he can do
that. This Tennessee defense, number 1 in the country right now in points allowed, ahead of Texas Tech. That's pretty damn good, right? Mm-hmm. When you got Beard beat on the defensive end, that is pretty damn good. They don't allow teams to shoot it from 3. They've got length. They've got athleticism. Like you said, they play hard as shit. They come after you. They're the best matchup for Gonzaga. They are. They're the best matchup. I'm not sure they beat them, but they match up well against Gonzaga. The only thing I worry about with Tennessee, Rob, is can they shoot the 3 well enough consistently? Do they have enough dudes? Vescovi can make them. Bailey can make some. Other than that, they're going 2s, and they got to hold you to under 60.
Yeah, their whole offense is kind of schemed around getting those little like 7 or 8 foot pull-ups in the lane, which I think we've talked about this on this stream before, where it's like that's not a bad shot if you can get it right. I think in the words of Clint Parks, this is one of my favorite lines of anybody. He says the mid-range is a layup if you grind, and those guys are all just like hitting their mid-range pull-ups. So my thing with them is offensively, like, who do you give the ball to? Let's say that the clock's winding down. There's 10 seconds left.
I don't know the answer to that.
Who do you give the ball to? Like,
I don't know.
Gonzaga's got 3 of those guys. Right. Baylor's got a couple of them, right? You can give it to Jared Butler. You can give it to MaCio Teague. At this point, you could probably give it to Davion Mitchell and feel pretty good about it. I don't know who you give it to on Tennessee. Like a lot of their stuff just comes from execution, and that's probably why I have them just a little bit
in transition too off their defense.
Yeah, but I mean, they're not like I'm thinking about it like, okay, they're playing Baylor, right? They're not going to be forcing 19 turnovers against Baylor. They're not going to do it against Gonzaga. So that's why I have them like slightly below. But the thing that's great about all 3 of those teams, and why like I really hope all of them make it to the Final Four so we can kind of see them play, is that they all match up so well with each other. They all can go like play 4 out. They all have one big that is really skilled, So
it'd be fun. That's what I said. I'm like, that should have been the Champions Classic. Like, put Villanova in there too. Those 4 teams, rather than a crappy Kentucky team. Duke, that's not good. Michigan State stinks right now. The only one of those 4 that's worth anything right now is Kansas.
Yeah, Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan State might not make the NCAA tournament.
Like two of those 3 legitimately might not make it. Now, again, people probably watching are thinking, come on, Duke's not going to make it. They'll probably be better, right? They'll probably get better. It's funny because, like you said earlier, in the ACC, there's no dominant. You can't figure out who the best team is right now in the ACC. Good luck.
I mean, it might be Clemson. Think about that.
Not Clemson.
It might be Clemson. Who's better than them? Who right now can you definitively say in the ACC is better than them? It's not Virginia.
Georgia Tech right now?
Yeah, right?
Our ACC power rankings: Clemson, Georgia Tech.
I know exactly what I'm saying and how weird it sounds, but like, are you putting Duke over them? North Carolina, Florida State just lost by 10 to Clemson.
No, I don't think I'm putting any of them. Virginia Tech.
Honestly, if they get healthy, I think Miami is the best team. Chris Likes, Isaiah Wong, Earl Timberlake, they have a really.
What if Louisville got Malik Williams back? Now they're not going to for a while, but if they did, they'd have 4 dudes.
I mean, it's probably them if that happens, but I'm not.
You're saying Miami? What if Louisville? What if? Like in terms of today, if you had to pick a team and say it's I'm betting my house on this team to get the furthest in the NCAA tournament. Rob Dauster, you're taking the Clemson Tigers.
The furthest in the NCAA tournament?
I would best team right now.
I think the best team and furthest in the NCAA tournament are 2 different things. I think I would probably go with Louisville just because you can hope that Malik Williams will be back. You can hope that some of the freshmen develop. Yeah. And I tend to bet on teams that have great guards. And I still believe that David Johnson and Carlik Jones are is a top 5 backcourt in college basketball. It's just getting all the pieces around them to kind of catch up.
You know who you're disrespecting? Buddy Boeheim. Buddy Boeheim.
I'm sorry, buddy. I did not mean it.
Disrespecting the Syracuse Orangemen.
I forgot that they existed because they've been on 17 different COVID pods.
I know.
So
Quincy
the last time they played.
Quincy's been really good, by the way. And I had him. I screwed up. I had him in my mock draft a year ago.
So every time I see him do well this year, I'm like, oh man, Goodman must be loving this. I can't remember who we were on some text thread last year where
Snow.
Was it Snow?
He killed me again. He's like, he still thinks he's doing it against nobody. I'm like, all right, he's averaging now 18 and 10. And Alan Griffin, the Illinois transfer, has been good. Buddy, Dolage, Gerard.
JG3.
They got
JG3. Fun fact is JG3 and Buddy Boeheim is a better backcourt and better shooters combined than Jerry McNamara and Eric Devendorf ever were.
Wow.
Fun fact.
Those are fighting.
Fun fact. Did you know that?
Hey, and a couple other really quick ones before we move on to today's action. Huge win up for Seton Hall. I actually thought that was as big a win as there was last night. I know Tennessee, and rightfully so, stole the headlines because they blasted, again, a Missouri team. We don't know how good they are. But you know what we know? Xavier had been pretty damn good this year for the most part. Seton Hall went in there and beat the living shit out of them in Cincy. And Bryce Aiken changes this team completely. Now they've got a point guard. If Aiken stays healthy, this Seton Hall team with Mamu.
Love Mamu. Mamu.
He's awesome. He's one of my favorite players, period. Love him. Plays hard. He's just got that edge to him. And it surprises me, Rob. So I'm doing my mock draft, finishing it this week. And nobody has Mamu in the first round. Nobody. And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like the back half of that first round from 20 to 30, you're talking about some dudes that I would take him over. That a lot of people, again, they're mock drafts. They're throwing darts at this point. But I got to talk to some more NBA guys this week.
And all you need is one team to fall in love with you in that range.
Right.
And you get picked. Like Jordan Poole was a first-round pick, right? All you need is one team to fall in love.
Look at Peyton Pritchard right now. Like nobody thought Peyton Pritchard would go in the first round. He's playing 20 minutes a game. Now Kemba's hurt, but he's playing 20 minutes a game for Brad Stevens and playing in crunch time. One team loved him.
The one thing I will say about that, like Emmanuel Quickley too, no one thought he would be a first-round pick. He went 25th. The one thing I will say about that is I do think it's easier for point guards to come in. Like,
sure,
I think Peyton and Mamu both have are similar things in that we know what they are offensively. There are question marks about what they can be defensively. I think it's a little bit easier to hide someone as a point guard defensively than it is to hide someone that is a big guy. But I mean, look, if you want to tell me you're going to take Mamu 24th, like he's 6'11", he can pass the hell out of it, he can make threes, and you
can put him on the floor some.
Yeah,
right.
I like him.
I just think, listen, he'd be a second unit, really good second unit forward coming off the bench. Period.
He'd be great. He'd be great in all like the short roll stuff that we're seeing NBA teams do. Pick like I mean, he's an NBA player. I don't. I haven't done a mock draft, so I can't like sit here and definitively say like I'd take him in the first round. But
like I watch him, and I watch Terrence Clark, and I know you like Terrence Clark. I think you still like him.
I never loved him. I loved the idea of what he could end up being, if that makes sense.
Of course. He's talented. He's long. He looks the part. He's talented. I just think he's got a long, long way to go. Like, I hope, and he won't, but I hope he stays a second year in college, like Harrison Barnes did at Carolina. I think he could really, really – I know he won't. I know there's no chance. I get it. All I'm saying is if he did, his game could really mature. He could mature.
Yeah. What was the other game that you were big
Arkansas.
on?
I mean, Arkansas, they finally beat somebody worth something. And that's no disrespect to all the other teams they've beaten. But, yeah, okay, fine. Auburn's not great. I get it. Auburn's not great, especially without a point guard. But I thought
Well, okay, looking at their schedule, yeah, okay, they finally
right?
Yeah, they did.
Go ahead, read them off. Read them off. Arkansas is who they beat.
Mississippi Valley State, North Texas, UT Arlington, Lipscomb Southern, Central Arkansas, Oral Roberts, and Abilene Christian.
Yeah, there's my point. What's the best team in KenPom? What's the ranking?
North Texas, Grant McCasland,
100.
The Mean Green.
What are they? 102.
Do not come on the Best Bets live stream and disrespect Grant McCasland and the North Texas Mean Green.
I will not.
They are 100. They are borderline top 100 on KenPom.
I like Arkansas, is all I'm saying. I know they beat an Auburn team that is very, very mediocre. And again, without a point guard. Okay. So it's hard to run your team without a point guard. Sharif Cooper was supposed to be that guy. He's still, I don't know, suspended is the right word. The NCAA is never going to clear him, it looks like, because the allegations about his dad, all that stuff. So anyway, what I will say is Arkansas looks pretty good to me. Like Moses Moody, I like Moses Moody a lot. Like he moves into that Isaiah Joe role, but he's way better defensively, and he can really, really shoot it, and he's got that length. What I like are their transfers. They're old again. Connor Vanover, man, 7'3".
I love him. But he's one of my favorite players in college basketball. Man. He's pulling threes from the logo.
Yes.
7'3".
And do you
remember what his hair was last year?
Oh yeah,
when he was out, when he had the fade up to the top and the two braids going back like the pigtails. Yeah. What a legend! Connor Vanover might be a top 5 player in college basketball.
Man, big
my hero.
So, Vanover, JD Notae. I like and Desi Sills was awesome. Like,
are they the second best team in the SEC?
Yes. I am ready to anoint them as the second best team in the SEC, and they're good. I just feel like it's going to be hard for us to determine how good unless they can beat Tennessee or play Tennessee tough. Otherwise, it's going to be like whoever they beat. Well, you know what? If they're a top 20 team, they should be beating Kentucky and Missouri and South Carolina and everybody and the bottom of the SEC. By the way, did you like my call of Mississippi State over Georgia?
Oh, they beat the hell out of them. That was a great call.
That out seriously, I don't think I sweated that out for 30 seconds.
No, you did not at all.
Georgia stinks. I'm going to fade Georgia all year long.
All right, so let's get into tonight's slate. Before we do, I got to let you guys know about the official odds provider of the Field of 68 Media Network. That is DraftKings Sportsbook. The holiday season is winding down, but the sports calendar is in full swing this week. We have college sports, we have pro sports, we have football, we have basketball. There's never been a better time to get in on the action. So download America's top-rated sportsbook app and come join us. To celebrate this year's college football playoffs, DraftKings is giving all new users a chance to bet on any of the 4 semifinal teams to win the championship at 100-1 odds. That's right. All you got to do, bet $1 on any of the 4 semifinal champions, and you will win $100. What you got to do when you log in, when you join, if you're a new user, put in the promo code FIELD68. That's FIELD68 to get 100-1 odds on any of the college football semifinalists. While we are all excited for college football and the NFL playoffs, don't forget, how could you? College, the 2021 basketball season, both college and NBA is in full swing. So check out DraftKings Daily Odds Boosts to get a little bit of extra juice on your action. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code FIELD68, that's FIELD68, when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any semifinal team to win it all. That's code FIELD68 for new players to get a shot at $100 on any semifinal this week. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9 with it. I'm really getting good at that ad read. Jeffrey, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's laying 8.5. They're playing at home in the Kohl Center. The total's 143. What do you got?
I will, boy, I don't know. It's a lot of points. It's a lot of points for Wisconsin team that's coming off a loss like that, right? I mean, lose to Maryland, tough loss. Every sign points to the fact that go Badgers, right? But I'm going to go Minnesota. I'm going to take the 8.5 and say that Minnesota is going to play them tough. I mean, they've got the talent. And again, I keep going back to it, Rob. The best player on the floor is going to be who?
Marcus Carr.
Right? And the second best player on the floor might be Liam Robbins.
Maybe. I mean, he's really good. He's really good.
That's all I'm saying, man. Like, they got dudes. They got good players. They got a McDonald's an All-American, not a McDonald's All-American, but an All-American in Marcus Carr. So I'm going to take the points there. It's 8.5. The open was 7.5. It's gone up a little bit. I'm going with the Gophers and Richard Pitino on this one. You like that?
I do. It's a tough matchup. The only thing that worries me is that Minnesota has played one game away from the barn.
The barn.
Do you know what happened in the one time that they left the friendly confines of the barn? They lost by 30. They got 30-pieced by Illinois. So that is my one concern. Is them playing on the road.
The good thing is they're not going to be overwhelmed athletically like they were against Illinois.
Yeah, and I don't fully buy into the idea that Wisconsin is necessarily as good or as talented as we thought they were. I think the real advantage that they had, especially early in the season, is there's so much continuity and so much experience on that roster that, like, of course they were going to kick the shit out of everybody that they played early on. I think it's a stay away from me. It feels like this would be a good buy low spot for Wisconsin coming off of the loss at home to Maryland. Minnesota just won 3 games in a row at home. So this does feel like a good sell high spot. So to me, the process kind of says bet Wisconsin, but I don't want to bet Wisconsin in the spot. So it's going to be a stay. I'm not going to have any money on that game.
All right. I'm going Minnesota there. I'm taking the 8.5. What's the next game?
Remember, Jeffrey is 96 and 64 on the season. So that's a 60% clip.
I can't keep this up. We know that.
It's elite.
Maybe at least through the end of the year, I can keep it up. Give me one more. Give me one more heater of a night.
Yeah, come on. One more. Let's do it tonight. All right. Michigan at Maryland. What do you like? Maryland is getting 2 at home.
Yeah.
The total's 142.5.
I think like Maryland. Michigan's undefeated. They haven't played great teams so far. Maryland's coming off that huge win. I don't know. What's the over-under in that? I didn't even look.
142.5. KenPom has it at 143. They also say Michigan should be favorable. So it's all, it's right there.
I'm staying away, but if I was going with it, I'd take Michigan. How's that? I don't have a good feel. I just don't.
I don't either. I feel like I'm never going to have a good feel when it comes to Maryland because
You're
my
not.
gut is always going to say that they're not very good, but I mean they're winning games. Like Mark Turgeon is not having a bad season this season.
No, they're 6-3. Like the teams they've lost to, there's really no major. At Clemson, we talked about them. They could be the best team in the ACC right now. Rutgers at home, no major shame. And then on the road to Purdue, like 3 respect. And then they just beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin. So I don't think they're great. But I'm not sure how good Michigan is yet. Like, I think Michigan's the better team. I love Hunter Dickinson, by the way. I'm like, from the first time I saw him in AU ball when he was like 15, absolutely love this kid. Doesn't surprise me at all that he's tearing it up.
Well, you probably first saw him in AAU ball when he was like 16 because he's a 20-year-old freshman. So he's definitely old for his age.
Really good. I'll go Michigan if I'm gonna go with it, but I'm staying away.
The one thing that concerns me about taking Michigan in that spot is that the way that Maryland was able to come back against Wisconsin is that they just spread out Wisconsin's bigs, and like Dante Scott was able to beat Micah Potter and Nate Reavers over, and like we talked about that, Dante Scott dunked all over him at the end of that game. So that's my concern is that they will pull Hunter Dickinson away from the basket and kind of take advantage of that matchup. But other than that, like I kind of favor Michigan like on the wings. Like that the combination of Isaiah Livers, Franz Wagner, and Shawnee Brown is like the best wing trio that you'll find in the Big Ten. So that's probably again another stay away from me. I want to have a better feel on Michigan before I really invest in them at all. Can I tell you what my favorite bet of the night is? And it's not even close.
Yep.
Arizona -8.5 at Washington. Got to bet the narrative, baby. You got to bet the narrative. First and foremost,
Arizona's going to be upset. Do we even think half their team that's international even cares that they're not playing in the NCAA tournament?
I'm sure that they do. Like everyone knows what the NCAA tournament is.
I don't know. Ben Simmons didn't care.
Yeah, but none of those kids are Ben Simmons. Like Ben Simmons didn't care because he thought he should be making millions of dollars in the NBA, which he should have. None of those foreigners on Arizona's roster are Ben Simmons.
Oh, that's a shot at Tubelis or whatever his name is.
That's like saying Jeff Goodman's mad about doing a live stream because he's not on SVP's Bad Beats.
I am. I'm so upset. I'm not doing it anymore. In fact, yeah. I mean, listen, Washington stinks. That's what you're doing here. You're honestly, you could say it's all about the narrative of Arizona all you want.
I mean, it's both those things. Like they're going to come out and they're going to be pissed and they're going to whip up on Washington, who is, not very good.
They're not very good. They are not very good. All right, so I'll go with you there. I'll go with you just because I'm going to fade Washington as much as anything. Colorado USC, pretty good game. And I think USC's favored now by 1.5 at home at the Galen Center.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado coming off that loss to Arizona on the road again in LA. I'll go Colorado. I'll take the points. I'll take the points there. And I don't love it, but I like it a little bit. I just think Colorado a little bit more into – they've got veterans and Evan Batty and McKinley Wright. I just feel like they can't lose this, can they?
Yeah, I like USC. The big thing that you got to watch is if Ethan Anderson is going to play. Like I do feel like he's kind of been a little bit of a difference maker for him at the lead guard spot. So he did not play against Santa Clara the other night, so that's something to keep an eye on. But I don't know, man. It's like you're betting on the fact that McKinley Wright is going to be able to control the game, and I don't think that we've seen him do that against elite competition yet this season. So I would probably lean towards USC, as uncomfortable as it sounds. Yeah, I think I would go with the Trojans in the spot. What are they going to do with Evan Mobley? How are they going to deal with him? He is so good.
I don't know. I mean, again, you hope he's disinterested. That's what you got to do for Evan Mobley is hope he's disinterested. All right, I got a few smaller ones. Nevada, is the Nevada-New Mexico game off? I can't remember. Is that game off?
I mean, it's on the board right now, so we can go.
I can't keep track sometimes, and New Mexico's been all over the place. Whole new team. They've been practicing who knows where. I think it's Arizona. I can't keep track again. I'll take Nevada and the points there. It's 6. And then I like San Fran giving 13 to San Diego at home. I just think there's a big disparity there between talent. I saw USF obviously pull their big upset in the bubble. They've got good guards. They've got tough guards. I like those. I'm trying to think, is there anything?
San Francisco is legit.
They are.
Like they're legit. Like that. Khalil Shabazz and Jamari Bouye. One, best name in college basketball. And two, like they just have
Bouye is good, but Bouye.
And Miller Cott, like Northwestern,
yeah.
Like Northwestern has to be elite this year. Like with a Miller Cop and a Boo Buie, like they got to be elite. You got to get it done. Chris Collins, you got to get that done for us. All right. Yeah. But I mean, they have great playmaking guards. They have a ton of shooters everywhere on the floor, and they have big guys that can kind of defend the paint. Like and the one thing that does worry me about San Francisco is like they shoot so many threes. They shoot more than 50% of their shots from beyond the arc. When they play Gonzaga, they might shoot 75% of their shots from beyond the arc just to say like, okay, if we shoot 50 threes and make 30 of them,
maybe
we'll beat Gonzaga. Yeah. And I promise you, like with that staff and the way that they think about things, that's something that they will pay attention to. Now, what makes me feel very good about it is that do you know where San Diego ranks in defensive three-point percentage nationally?
It's got to be towards the bottom in the 300s.
316th. They are not very good at it. So they do a pretty good job of running people off of the 3-point line, but if you get looks against them, you make them. and I'm not worried about San Francisco being able to get looks. So that's a long way of saying that, yes, I 100% agree with your USF take. I like the fade Nevada call. I like the fade Washington call. Obviously, I'm in on that. And I think those are the 3 bets that I will be on tonight. I'll take USC too. I'll take USC as well.
Winthrop barely beat Campbell last night. And Winthrop's one of the best mid-majors in the country. I think they're laying like 15 last I checked. I'll take Winthrop there. I'll take Pat Kelsey and Winthrop to come back and play a lot better than they did against Campbell and blow them out. So I think I got 6. Minnesota, Arizona.
I'm not seeing the Winthrop game.
No? I thought I saw it. Did I not? Hold on. Maybe it got pulled.
It's at 1:00. It's not on the board right now, DK.
Yeah, Winthrop Campbell, 14 and a half.
All right, well, hold on. Let me refresh and see if it's just not up there yet. Either way, I like that call on Winthrop.
All right, so I got Minnesota.
Oh, there it is. It's 14. It's 14. It's 14.
14.
I just had to refresh, baby. All right,
14.
so we're both on Winthrop, right?
We're both on Winthrop, both on Arizona.
Yep. Both on San Francisco.
Both on San Fran. Yep.
And both on Nevada.
This scares me that I'm with you on this many. This doesn't.
Why?
You've been good. You've been good.
You forgot.
You've been good. All right. All right. I'm on Minnesota and Colorado, and you are also
I'm on USC. So I got USC.
I got one more. Right here, Robert. Right here. Look at me. Yeah, right here. Cal getting 14 and a half against Oregon. Listen, Oregon's going to be really good when they get Will Richardson back. They're without their big N'Faly Dante. He's done for the year. So they're down 2 of their top 5 guys. Cal has Matt Bradley back. They just got Jared Hyder back a couple games ago, transfer from Fresno. I think they keep it close enough. I'm not saying they win it, but I think Mark Fox finds a way to muck it up and keep it close enough against Oregon. So I'm going to throw Cal on there too. And that's it. Minnesota, Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, San Francisco, Winthrop, and Cal for me.
All right. You guys heard it. Hopefully we'll have another 6 over here so I can come back tomorrow with this shirt on.
You're the legend.
Hopefully I'll be
in your own mind. In your own mind, you can be the man, the myth, the legend.
Hey, and in my grandma's mind too, all right?
That's it. That's all that matters, right?
That's all that matters, baby. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully with a hangover.